1,000 Alba sisters. Brittany Combs defended after mean comments. The internet can be a loud, chaotic place, full of opinions, hot takes, and sometimes harsh words that cut deeper than anyone expects. For Brittany Combs, a familiar face to fans of 1,000 LB sisters, that reality became all too clear when a wave of mean-spirited comments began circulating online. What started as a few critical remarks quickly snowballed into something much bigger, but so did the support. Because if there's one thing Brittany didn't expect, it was just how many people would step forward to defend her. Brittany Combs has never been the loudest personality on screen. Unlike the fiery dynamics often seen between the Slayton sisters and their extended family, Brittany brought something different. Calmness, stability, and a grounded presence. She wasn't chasing attention. She wasn't trying to steal scenes. Instead, she showed up as herself, soft-spoken, kind, and deeply supportive of her husband, Chris Combs, as he navigated his own weight loss journey. For many viewers, Brittany represented something refreshing, a reminder that not every reality TV personality needs to be dramatic to be meaningful. But for others, that quiet nature became a target. It began subtly. A few comments here and there questioning her appearance, some remarks about her clothing choices, particularly her signature headbands. Others took aim at her demeanor, calling her boring, too reserved, or even awkward on camera. At first it seemed like typical internet chatter, but then the tone shifted. The criticism became more personal, more pointed and far less kind. People began speculating about her lifestyle, her personality, even her role in her family. Some comments crossed the line entirely, veering into cruel territory that had nothing to do with the show itself. For Brittany, who had never sought the spotlight in the first place, the sudden negativity felt overwhelming. Sources close to Brittany later described how difficult the experience had been. While she rarely addressed criticism publicly, the weight of constant judgment began to take its toll. Imagine living your life, supporting your loved ones, and simply existing on screen, only to have strangers dissect every detail about you. Her silence wasn't weakness, it was restraint. But the internet often mistakes silence for vulnerability, and that's when something unexpected happened. The tide began to turn when longtime viewers of 1,000 LB Sisters noticed the growing negativity. At first, it was just a few comments pushing back. "Why are people being so mean to her?" one fan wrote. "She's literally done nothing wrong," another added. Then, the floodgates opened. Supporters began sharing their appreciation for Brittany, highlighting her kindness, her loyalty, and the way she stood by Chris through every challenge. "She's the kind of person everyone needs in their life," one comment read. Others pointed out how rare it is to see someone so genuine on reality TV. No drama, no fake behavior, just a real person being herself, a fan wrote. The narrative was shifting, and fast. What many critics failed to understand is that Brittany's quiet nature wasn't a flaw, it was a strength. In a world where loud personalities often dominate, it takes courage to remain grounded, to not perform, to not change yourself for approval. Brittany didn't need to shout to be heard. Her actions spoke louder than words, whether it was supporting Chris during difficult moments, standing by her family through ups and downs, or simply offering a calm presence in chaotic situations. She showed strength in a way that often goes unnoticed. Until now. One of the most talked about topics, surprisingly, was Brittany's headbands. What some mocked, others came to defend fiercely. Fans explained that her choice to wear headbands wasn't just a fashion statement. For some, it symbolized modesty, personal comfort, or even religious values. "Why are we judging someone for how they dress?" one supporter asked. "It's part of who she is, let her be." The conversation quickly evolved into something bigger, a discussion about acceptance, individuality, and the unnecessary pressure placed on women to conform to certain standards. In defending Brittany, fans were also challenging a much larger issue. There's a common misconception that reality TV stars sign up for criticism the moment they appear on screen. But what many forget is this: they're still real people. Brittany didn't enter the spotlight as a performer. She wasn't chasing fame or building a brand. She was simply living her life and allowing cameras to capture it. The line between entertainment and reality often gets blurred, and viewers can forget that the people they're watching go home, read comments, and feel emotions just like anyone else. The backlash against Brittany became a wake-up call for many. While Brittany remained mostly silent, those close to her couldn't ignore what was happening. Chris Combs, known for his protective nature and deep love for his wife, reportedly grew frustrated with the negativity. Though he didn't launch into public confrontations, those around him noted that he made it clear. Brittany didn't deserve the treatment she was receiving, and honestly, fans agreed. Their relationship had always been built on mutual respect, support, and understanding. Watching someone attack Brittany felt personal, not just to Chris, but to viewers who admired their bond. Out of the negativity, something positive began to grow. A community. Fans started creating posts celebrating Brittany, sharing their favorite moments, praising her kindness, and even calling her one of the most underrated figures on the show. Some admitted they hadn't paid much attention to her before. "But now I realize she's the heart of the family," one fan wrote. Others shared how they related to her. Not everyone is loud. Some of us are like Brittany, and that's okay. It became more than just a defense. It became appreciation. If there's one lesson to take from Brittany's experience, it's this: kindness matters. It's easy to criticize, easy to judge, easy to type something harsh behind a screen, but it takes effort to be kind, to understand, to defend someone who might not defend themselves. The fans who stood up for Brittany didn't just change the conversation, they reminded everyone watching that compassion still exists, even in the most unexpected places. While she didn't make any grand statements or emotional posts, Brittany's response, or lack of one, spoke volumes. She continued living her life, continued supporting her family, continued being exactly who she had always been. And in doing so, she proved something powerful. You don't have to engage with negativity to rise above it. Sometimes the strongest response is simply staying true to yourself. By the time the dust began to settle, the conversation around Brittany had completely changed. Where there had once been criticism, there was now respect. Where there had been judgment, there was understanding. People began to see her differently, not as a background figure, but as an essential part of the show's dynamic. Someone who brought balance, someone who brought authenticity, someone who didn't need to demand attention to deserve it. Brittany's story isn't just about one person facing online criticism. It's about how quickly negativity can spread and how powerful it can be when people choose to push back against it. It's about recognizing the humanity in others, even when they're on a screen. And it's about understanding that everyone, no matter how quiet or reserved, has value. As 1000 LB Sisters continues, fans are likely to watch Brittany with a new perspective, not just as Chris's wife, not just as a supporting figure, but as someone who, in her own quiet way, became a symbol of resilience. And perhaps that's the most unexpected twist of all. In a world that often rewards loudness and controversy, Brittany Combs reminds us of something important. There is strength in softness, there is power in kindness, and there is dignity in simply being yourself, no matter what anyone else has to say. The internet may never be a completely kind place,